Okay, welcome to today's part 4.3 of how to create an Azure virtual machine. Um, in this one here, uh, I'm going to, uh, our last part four, we talked about how to create an Azure virtual machine using the Azure IaaS service. Um, and then creating a 30-day free subscription with an email account, which allows you to gives you 200 USD credit for you to use. Then we created a new account for new users who don't have an Outlook account, and we signed into the existing account if you did have one. If you did have a live, or not live, or an at Hotmail or ad hoc account that was ready for you to use, and we created a new machine. Um, right? And these were the basic settings that we used to create the machine for you to use, which was pretty straightforward. We're going to go ahead and reuse these settings here. And today, what I'm going to do is this was with a credit card, with a credit card. Okay. And this gives you 30-day free access. So you can go back and forth or up to a year with the 30-day free subscription. Uh, with up to $200 USD credit, but a credit card is needed for this one. In today's um, in today, we're going to use it without a credit card. Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh, how's that? How do you do that?" Well, there is a way to do it. I'll show you guys how to do that. And the problem is it's not a 30-day free subscription. This one's going to be a 4-hour time slot um, given to you for up to 10 times a day. Okay. There is no credit, no credit, no credit card needed. No credit card needed. Um, you're gonna sign into your existing account or create a new account. And with this one here, we're going to sign in with our Hotmail accounts, Hotmail Outlook accounts. Okay. And then, so again, you're getting a 4-hour time slot, which is given to you, uh, for up to 10 times a day. And I'll kind of show you what that is. The difference between the two is if you, um, if you shut off your machine or you close the browser or you let it will shut off those virtual machines. So it's sort of a way to kind of use up the time you spend on the computer, and it gives you a free. We call it it's a free sandbox. Um, so this one's called a sandbox. So you guys probably heard the term or not, but it's a Windows sandbox. Um, Sandbox, also known as a WAS, Windows as a service. I'm not gonna Windows as a service. If it's that's a new word, it's called Windows as a service, and I'll show you how to use that. Again, no credit card needed for you to use. You can use it 4 hours at a time, right? Um, you know, in or slot, time slot, right? Which gives you, which gives you um, the ability to create whatever ever you want for training or for the AZ exams. Okay. It also gives you for up to 10 times a day. And I'll kind of show you guys how that works. It may seem a little bit confusing at first, but I'll kind of give you the gist of things. It's if you guys remember this Windows Sandbox, that's how that's what we're going to be using. The credit card isn't enough free to use. You can create a Windows virtual machine that works with a static IP, private range that they give you. Sorry, yeah, a public range that they give you. And then with that IP, you can sign into that Windows 10 machine, Linux machine, server machine, Windows 10 or 11. And today I'm going to show you how to create. We are going to create two virtual machines, one server, right, which is sort of our domain controller, and the second one, so one here, domain controller, one, let's create a domain controller, and then our second one will be creating a Windows 11 machine. Okay. So that's the gist of things. Again, we're gonna create a new. Well, we're in this case we're not really creating. Like in our old version, we had to create a resource group. The resource group is created. So in this one, resource group is already created. We cannot create a resource group. Okay. And I'll show you how to do that. Um, you know, when we try to create a virtual machine, there is a preset configuration. That resource group's already created. Um, and here's sort of like my, let me zoom in that for you. So here are the two machines that I've created in my Learn Sandbox, Microsoft Learn Sandbox. Um, I have a dev machine that I'm going to use for app services, and and you know, um, you know, that's something that I'm working on right now. Creating these two app services within the Azure environment. I'm now able to do that. And then I also have a Windows 11 machine. That's in the same using the resource group that I've already created, and then using the operating system and sizes, and then providing the public IP address, and then adding two disks, showing how to add LUNs and disks and stuff like that. But I want you guys to understand the concept, because the concept is important, and it is a little bit different than what we planned before in my older videos. So we are going to create. We the resource group is already created. We cannot create a resource, and I'll show you to create the virtual machines without errors. Without any errors. And I'll show you how an error might recur and how it might not occur. And we're going to use the same um, settings that we did in our last session. So let's keep that in mind, and when we go ahead and move along with that. So let's go back to the drawings now. Our drawing again from our last session. Well, this is my drawing right now. I have a domain controller. Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit here. Um, I have a domain control Canadian branch office in our AD, and I'll show you the AD. Again, I'm only using one domain. Here's my MECM PS server. I'm only using one domain again for now, and within my domain, I have my data centers, my American and my US data centers, and I've created users within it, and disabled them because we're not using them. So I'm going to be disabling them. And then what we'll do is I will kind of show you what my on-premises looks like within my branch, right? My branch here and my local branch, and then you know segregate all the servers and whatnot in terms of how things are working. Um, the servers itself, I do have a file server, and I do not have an ES6i hypervisor, but we can create one, and I will show you guys how to create one in another video. But in this instance, we are using a client, so I'm going to put a line through this for now because we're not using this. All right, I'm just gonna put a line through it just for now, right? And I'll make this a little bit thicker, and I'm gonna give it the color red. Um, so that's no longer here in my domain. Again, I do have a file server, which is just there for roaming profiles and whatnot, for troubleshooting. And then I have my domain with my specific roles, my ADDS role and my DNS roles. Um, my um, I can, like I said, this is part of the MCSA 77040 courses that I taught back in the days. So we do use, our AAA system for Active Directory, and we use our DNS. Okay, so our Active Directory works like this. It has the AAA system. Let's see if I can get my pen. See if I can get my pen with this. Okay. Anyway, so my AAA, I'm just gonna show you. I'm not gonna draw. I don't want to draw anything out here. Um, I just want to show you um, how things are. Oh, you know what? Let me show you. It's been a while here. Okay. So, um, oh, sorry about that. Okay, so here's my freehand. My freehand. So again, this right here. Um, Again, this is my diagram. Um, it's not the scale or anything. I use this to kind of show you how things work and how things are developed into the cloud. So our main goal is to reach here, for the time being. Um, you know, go back one here. Okay. So, our Azure services are in the cloud are what we're going to use to create. So we're not really using this aspect of it, but in terms of what this is right now, for active, what a domain controller is for anybody following for the first time, a domain controller is a machine that's created with different roles and features that we have. And in this domain controller, I'll be using it for ADDS, which is for Active Directory. So we're installing the ADDS role that offers AAA authentication, authorization, auditing, and accounting. I also have DNS, and that DNS is used for name resolution. And again, if you want to manually, dynamically assign IPs, we can add the DHCP role, but in this case, I'm not going to use it. These are specific roles that we can add. And we can add different catalogs if we want within our domain controller. And again, this is all part of the MCSA 7740, which I have will create in the future. But just to kind of give you a better idea. So again, we have our disks, which are on our bare metal machines, are with an operating system, Windows 2022 server. with one network card, and I'll show you where these are so that you have a better understanding. And then within that server, you have your two roles that I want. File server is just there for it. We're not going to really touch that. Don't need it. So I'm going to just move that over for today. This is what we're going to be doing today. Okay. Okay. Push that. Ooh, right. And then I'm going to create another, just copy one of these if I could here. See if I can copy another. Okay, so today we're gonna have our domain controller just in case. That's gonna be hosting. I'm also using that for RDPing, so I'll show you what I do with that, so I don't have to use these files. I can turn them off, and then I also have my client here, which is our client machine, which I use for testing, and this is what I used before in my last class to install the Oracle database and whatnot. Our main focus today is to work here with up here, and then within this area we're going to create those two machines. To go back to those two machines, so before I do that, I'm going to show you a little bit about the domain controller so you guys have a better idea of what a domain controller is. It's not really it's just an extra topic that we're going to talk about for all this so you guys understand what's going on. um, like I said, our my service here is within our Canada data center and our US data center, and in Ontario I segregated those into specific OUs, and then within those OUs I created different groups and things. So I'm going to show you guys how to create a group, security group, and I'm going to show you guys how to create specific users. So in this one, I'm just going to create a couple users just so that we have an idea of how to create users before we move on to our machine, because one of our machines, our virtual machines, are going to be user based. So one of our machines are going to be a Windows 10 machine, and the other one's going to be a Windows 2011. So just to kind of show you how things are here, um, before I move on and kind of describe what we talked about in our last videos, so that you guys have a better understanding. Okay. I'm not going to do too much, but I'll show you how to just create a, let's say within the Montreal region, I want to create a user. So we'll call this user SC user 10. Okay. You could call it whatever you want. You could call it Bob. You could call it Spider-Man. You could call it Batman. You could call it Bruce Wayne. You call it whoever you want. It's up to you. It's to your heart's desires. So I'm just going to show you how to create it for now. Yeah. Delete that part here. And then I'm going to type in. Looks like the copy and paste doesn't want to work. Okay. And I'm going to put 10, 10, and then when I hit next, I'm going to disable the account because I really don't need this person right now. So I'm just going to leave him off. He might be a new user that wants to start in the future. So I'm just going to disable his account and not put a password in. And then when I'm ready, I'll put the password in for him. So the account is created and disabled. I'm also going to create a security group. I want to show you how this works here as well. So when we're creating security groups within here, you want to right click on the OU and then go to new. And then we're going to go to group. This is going to be a global security group. And then we're going to give this guy a name, and we're going to call him the Montreal HR department email, or let's say group. And this is going to be our department group. It's going to be a security group for users or for devices. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to call this a users group. because we may want users to be in this group and not devices, in terms of what you want to use it for and what you don't want to use it for. Okay, so we'll call this the Montreal HR user department group, and then we're going to hit OK. Right, and then again within our Montreal group, we're going to add user 10 to that. So let's see if we can add a user to the group, and I'll show you how to do that here. Within that department group, I'm going to add the user, and then within that user, I'm going to add um, the object types and see if there's computers here, contacts. Okay, so let's make sure everything's up there. So we have everything, and then we're going to check, make sure that we're in the correct location, and then we're going to search for SC user. Welcome back. So I'm going to be checking out those names here. And in this case, I'm going to be adding, let's say, 2 users here. I don't really have to add all the users, but I'll add a few users here and then hit OK. And then those are my 2 Montreal Human Resource User Department group, and then apply, make those changes. I also want to make some changes within our attributes here, and I want to make sure that we're part of the Canada group and not the US group, right? So we want to segregate that, and I'll show you where the location is, if I can remember. Location. Um, Give me one. All right, sorry guys, welcome back. So I'm looking at the object attributes here. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been looking into this, but there is a location known as C, or these conical names here. This is the conical name. So I want to change. Um, I want to change. It's not letting me province and state. It's should be able to change it here when I create. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I can. See if I can create another one here. Okay. All right. So let's create another one. Let's see what happens. Okay. All right. So let's create another group. Montreal. Let's create another um, contact. Actually, contact. Let's see if we can add the. There you go. So within here, I should be able to make um, the changes here in this here. So that's going to be our country name. And I'll show you how to filter that. And then within here, we're going to put Canada CN or CA. So that's going to be our conical name. And I'm going to hit enter and then apply and then hit OK. And then drag this group. It looks like in security groups, I'm not able to create those properties. So if I go into attribute again, I don't have any description. I don't have street, but I do have the manage by section, which would filter. I'm not sure why it's not letting me do that. I'll have to take a look at that and I'll let you guys know. Sorry about that, guys. This does happen here. I want to protect that from accidental deletion, and I want to apply the changes, and I need to look at some of these again. Once I have some time later, I'll see if I can find a better answer for you. Uh, User certificate, user password. Uh, I think I should be able to. Extension. No, it won't let me create the extension. But anyway, that's fine. We know that this one is the Montreal user group. It doesn't. I don't think they need to segregate it, but I'll find out some more information about that and add that into the description notes when I have the resolution for that. So for the time being, I want my users to be delegated and managed, right? So we want to make sure we manage them by country in Canada. So if I go into the attributes, I want to make sure that the conical name for the country name is Canada, and that's actually up to date and stuff. Um, this can all be changed if you want to. And again, you can add, and I've added the user to that group. So that user is part of the Montreal users group, okay? We also have user 9. That should also be, so if we're looking at the users and whatnot, um, so user, I think I put some users within here. So users 9. So let's move him out of here. Let's see the members that I put in here. We have users 9 and 10. Users 9 is located in the US, who's also, in the US data center right now and doing some work in Montreal. So we want to give them that segregation of that user group department for whatever it is. Okay. User 9 will move to, let's move him to Boston. So he's from Boston. Okay. Put him in Boston for now. So there you go. Okay. So if we look at Boston, he's now in Boston. If we go back to our Montreal department, he's got the user groups within our data center. So let me refresh that for a second. It might not have. Yeah. So let's go to our Canadian data center and go to Montreal. Go to that. Go to the members. Yeah. And there he is. He's user 10, user 11, 9 and 10 are in different data centers, locations, but are both part of the HR department. Seems like we have our user 9 who's working remotely, so should be able to manage the information there. Okay, so the country code is important. Um, so if we're looking at the country code again, And I'm going to attributes. Uh, the attribute C is known as our canonical name for that is the attribute name is C for country name, and that's going to be our country name. And if we need to change it and he moves to the United States, we'll have to change that for him if he decides to move over or is now working remotely. But his main office is in CA. Let's go to user 9 and give him who's in Boston here. Let's go back to his properties and let's go to the attributes. And then within the attributes, let's set him to US. So his value is US. Okay. Okay. Now there's different types of um, attributes and whatnot. For example, you want to give a description of it or department or description. So for example, user 9 is let's add the value to him as, let's say, HR director. Okay, so he's going to be our director of HR, user 9. We know that he's the director. And we're going to add that value for that and then hit OK. And then we're going to apply that. So once that filters applies, it should take a few seconds to change over. So let's refresh that about 3 or 4 times. Typically within just the local prem environment, since it's a small local prem environment, synchronization does take about half an hour by default if you have AADC set up, and I do have ADD set up. So my ADD is set up here, and I'll show you where that is. I've installed it already. So if we're looking at our domain controllers, our domain controller, I have the AAD setup connect uh, ready to go. So that's just creating 2 users and showing you how to create those 2 users in different data centers and different locations and making changes to those and changing their canonical name, their C attribute name, which is their country name, and not the canonical name. The canonical name is users, SC user 10 and SC user 9. So this is our Azure AD Connect tool. This tool is used for, I'm not going to show you guys how to install it. I'll do that in a later video. I also have a script here, and I want to show you guys how I created the script. I have a script here, which automatically has 390 users. I'm going to go ahead and install these 390 users. So if I open up the CSV file, just open the CSV file, more apps, and I'm going to open this with Notepad. I have all these users set up with a default password, starting by last name, first name, email, and whatnot. So all these users will be created. So I have about 390 users that I've created here. This is my script, and it's got a given name, a surname, the SAM account name, the display name, and the password. A password. So the password is default by and can be changed at any time. So I can go ahead and actually change that password whenever I want. So let's open up the PowerShell script. I created this PowerShell script a while back. Let me run I'm not going to run the PowerShell script first. I'm going to show you. I want to open this with, let's see if I can open this with ICE, PowerShell ICE, ISE. So let's go to start. Let's go to run this as more and run this as administrator. And okay. So I'm going to open up that. I just want to open up the script and kind of give you guys a quick tool intro on that. So it's within my desktop here. And I've gone ahead and created the script. This was a script that I created about, almost almost 9 years ago, and it creates the users from a simple CSV file into Active Directory, and then it's compatible with older versions and whatnot. So this script here is going to go ahead and create this OU. It's going to create the OU, and then by importing the CSV file. And then once I create that CSV file, it's going to create an OU called Exchange Users OU, and then input the information based on the CSV file that I give it. I'll show you guys how that works. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it, show you how that works here. Go ahead and play that. All right, see what happens. There you go. So this is what I'm looking for. So tell your computers in, please import your CSV file. So we know that our file is in our script here, and there's the CSV file that I showed you earlier on. It's got all the information there, and I hit open. And this is slowly going to load all my users. Yeah. So I'm just gonna close this for now and show you how that works in a second. Okay. I hit OK. So I can now synchronize those users. All I need to do is sign in with my uh, sign in or run a Delta on it, and I can synchronize that to my cloud service environment. But I'm not going to. I just want to give you guys a quick intro before I move on to how to create the virtual machine. I'll just show you how to create a bunch of users in Active Directory and create some user groups. Um, so the script is completed, as you can see. I've gone ahead and run the script. Now let's close that. And um, if I open my Active Directory and I refresh, I now have another OU called Exchange Users. And within those are my users. So this is all set up here. Um, and, and just the basic, again, just the basic profile, all domain users, ready to go, ready to log in. Um, right? So those are my users. And again, I can move some of these users. I can grab some of these users and move them. I can move them to different data centers and whatnot. So in Ontario group, I can put them into London or the Mississauga. So I'll put some of these users in London and some of these users, let's just grab a few more here. Migrate, okay. And so I'll grab these 5 users and I will move them to the States. So let's move these guys to the States here. Let's move them to New York. All right, so if we go to the US data center in New York, we have these 5 users here that I've created. These are our users that are ready to go and ready to use. So again, I can change these attributes. This was a quick way to actually bulk. So this kind of shows you how to bulk um, enroll different users, multiple users. So I have Martha, China, Mark Patel, Marion Pinto, Marge, and Margaret. Again, these guys will all have the same properties. So I'll show you how to change the common name. So if I right click all 5 property users, I can go to properties. And then if I go to country and region, I can now change that to Canada. Okay, and hit apply. Oh, sorry, US. So these guys are all going to be in the US. That's another way. United States. United States. Okay, so these guys are all part of the United States of America. And then again, I can add user profiles, roaming profiles if I want, home profiles, um, and give them more information. Add a manager, and the manager is right. And I could say I'm the manager. So Sal is the manager, admin, check the name, hit OK, and then apply. So again, these users here, again, um, will all be, and again, and if I want to, I can give myself, if I have this separate the degradation of domains, I can, segregate those and, change the password and, set the expiration date. You know, I can end the expiration date however I want. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to apply that information. And once I hit apply, I'm going to go to Marion, for example, Marion Pinto. I'm going to go to his attributes. And I think his C should be United States, right? So they should all have CO is CO is United States, and the C is the country name. So that kind of helps you answer a little bit. So that'll be how that's set up. So let's go back to our data center users that we've created, the Montreal user 10, and let's see if the CO is set or not set. So we're gonna go ahead and set that, and in this case, we're gonna say Canada, right? And we're gonna hit OK. Okay, we're gonna go to our Boston user. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go to properties, attributes, and we're gonna change his attribute CO to United States. Okay. So so that's pretty much you know how that works. I'm gonna go ahead and just write this down for you guys so that you guys have notes on that. I'm gonna create a new slide. Let's add a new slide. We're just gonna talk about Active Directory. Okay. What is it? You know, uh, how to manually create a user, groups, and um, and move them. Okay, within Active Directory, right? And then how to uh, run, how to automate Active Directory users using PowerShell. And this is the PowerShell script I created. PowerShell script I created. Okay. Spell that out a little bit here. Using PowerShell. PowerShell. Okay. So I do have a base one that I can use. That's just basic. That was just modified, but I also have my own. So again, I can share that with you guys after the video, or if you guys want, just send me a message on my WhatsApp group, and I can definitely send you. I'll post the WhatsApp group to join, and I'll send it to you if necessary. Okay. That'll all be posted in the job description within this video. Um, Again, using attributes to edit changes for C and CO. Okay, so the letter C is known. The letter C attribute is the country name or country code, two-letter country code, right? Like GB, Denmark, US, Canada, EU, etc., etc. Okay, so that's your country name, and then we also have our CO, which is our CO is the actual name of the country that you live in, and that's by default per user. So CO is the canonical name for country, and that's the full country or country operator. Okay. And that's just a little bit about it again. And again, there is AADC tool which synchronizes. But I'm not going to, this is optional. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that. There is a separate course I can, if I get enough people, I can definitely, use that. So there is AADC tool. Just I want you guys to Google it, or I'll send you I'll send you the link in the job description on how to install it and how to read it. it's pretty cool. And again, if you look at my diagram, um, if you look at the diagram, okay, so right, so this is not using this. Okay, I'm gonna stop drawing. Okay, so I'm not using. So it is basically the synchronization part, and that takes about 30 minutes to synchronize, right? So that 30 minutes is synchronized from the domain premises controller, right? So that'll connect to this, and then we'll go back to there. This will be done in another video, but I just want you guys to understand how to create specific users and groups within here, so you guys have a better understanding of how to. Um, so you know what the domain controller is, right? Okay. With that being said, let me see if I can get this in Active Directory. Uh, ABC, Azure Active Directory Connect. What is it? So Connect, Azure. What is it? So let's see if we can get some information on it. Um, so we'll take this here. All right, so this will be some information on what that is. So what is the Microsoft Entra Connect? Within here, it's an on-premises Microsoft application. So as you can see, it was on-premises on my domain controller. So the AADC tool is on here. Let's see if I can put some text here. So we're also installing the AADC tool. So you'll see the stop. Okay. So we are text AADC tool. Again, that is that's also going to be installed on the machine, right? Um, so the operating system, it sits on top of, those are the application. That's the application and the services that are, then the binaries that are in there, and then that actual AADC tool, as I showed you earlier on in my domain controller, is on the domain controller. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to post this in the link. And again, that on-premises application, it's to meet the accomplished for your hybrid identity goals. If you're evaluating how to best meet your goals, you should also consider the Entra Cloud Sync. But again, these are the features that are included within here, and I can migrate those users, those automated users, those 390 users plus those 10 users that I created manually. Those users can be migrated over to the cloud. Um, yeah. So that's it. So I think they've changed the versioning of it. There is a 2003 version of it. So if you want to use it to install, if you want to install it, you can download the version, which was published almost a month ago. So this is the newest version that they came up with, um, you know, that they're using now. So you're more than welcome to download it and try it on your own, by following my videos and creating the domain controller and whatnot. Okay. Apply here. Just leave that for now. All right, apply my Pinto. Hit OK. Okay, so with that being said, okay. So with that being said, um, you know, here's a link. Let me see if I can get you the link again. Yes, get the link for you. Get the link for you there. Post it in there. So this is what that tool is. As I showed you, I installed it on my domain controller machine, or the application that sits on the top of the operating system. Make this a little bit bigger here. I don't know. So that's it's on top. That's the application, the OS, and that's the application. These are the disks. This is and then this is the NIC card um, that provides your VM network, your physical, right, or your virtual. Sorry, your virtual VM net, and then that provides internet. Check my other videos for explanations on that. So we talked about what interconnect is. Let's post that here, right? And then the link, post the link here for you guys as well. I'll put that in our YouTube video. Right, so that's a good read, guys. This is a great read. And that's about it. So going to that, so that's just a little bit about ADA. I thought I'd bring that up to you guys so you guys have a better understanding of what ADDS is and how that provides AAA. Like I mentioned before, there's authentication, which is sort of your Kerberos ticketing system, your AD system, your user passwords, basically that never travel over the network. And then we have our authorization, which is sort of can you not use the domain resources, the file server, the print server, the SQL server, the Exchange server, the shared folders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we also have our auditing and our accounting as our third A. And within those, we can see events within the event viewer and the log files, or some, or some uh, monitoring and enterprise applications. Okay. That, okay. And then back to our drawing. So, uh, all right, let's copy that, paste. So not really using these two right now. We're just showing you our domain controller. So you have a better understanding of what that is. So let's move on to the next topic. Our next topic is the best part here. So I explained the two parts to you and whatnot. Our next part here is we still need to create the two virtual machines using the concierge subscription within our Learn Sandbox. Um, how do I architect and draw my diagrams? So as you can see, guys, uh, I use a variety of programs. So these are the applications I use. And today I'm using a program called draw.io. I've been using this for a long time. I also like to use Smart Draw, Microsoft Paint, and Microsoft Video. So today's video is I'm using the draw.io. So this is the application that I'm using to architect my diagram um, within my on-premises environment and my racks and whatnot. So um, as you guys remember in other videos, you know, we did create some virtual machines within using uh, virtual VMware Workstation Pro and Oracle VirtualBox Manager. So today we're going to be learning uh, how to use um, Azure Sandbox. I'll show you guys how to do that. So what I want you guys to do is go to learn.microsoft.com, okay, and sign in. Once you've signed in, here's I'll put this up in my notes here for so this is the installer um, for the draw.io. So you should be able to download that here if you want. Um, And I also talked about Smart Draw software. So this is actually pretty cool software. I love this software. I also use this for drawing a lot, and I'll show you what this looks like here when I launch the app. Out of the way. Right. So I'm not sending into this one, but you know, I have different IT networks. So this is how I create um, my rack diagrams. For example, my on-premises environments and racks and whatnot. Um, so I'm now able to create my racks and present that to our management team if I want. Okay. And give it the different changes and whatnot. So this is a great product. It's part of my toolbox. It's been around with me for a long time. If you know me, this is what I love to use. So that's my other app. And then we also have Microsoft Paint. I've been using Microsoft Paint. You can see in some of my videos too, I use Microsoft Paint. It's a little easier for me to use, um, especially when I'm designing or explaining my notes and whatnot. And then we also have Microsoft 365 product, which is a paid app, Microsoft Visual. I'm not gonna get too much into detail what that is, but you guys, I'm sure you guys can Google. It's a Google search away. So here's my dashboard, my Learn dashboard. Um, so I'm going to go to make this a little bit bigger here. Product documentation, discover. Okay, I'm going to be going to the training, and then within here, I'm going to show you guys how to browse all paths. And there's a few things I want you guys to learn here for, especially if you guys are going for that AZ1 900 course, AZ. So let's get all the AZ courses here. So these are all the AZ course modules, which I've completed already, as you can see. You know, courses and modules and learning paths that I've done. As you can see, I've on level 14, I've been doing a lot. I've been doing this for a long time. So what I want to do is filter this to all courses. So if I can get all the courses here that I've completed. So these are some of the Azure courses that I've completed. Fundamentals course, I'm also certified Azure administrator. Um, and then some of the other 1 or 2 day courses that you're more than welcome to take if you need that or if you want to add that to your toolbox. Okay. So these are the 3 or 4 different courses that I recommend: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And at the end, you know, I actually teach, so I'm able to, you know, create and give the different, you know, give you guys the certificate that comes with this. If you are looking for a professional service, I also provide teaching. So if you guys are interested, just let me know on like in the WhatsApp chat and in the YouTube video comments. So how do I create a new machine? So what I do is and there's actually here, look through my, let's go see what we can do here. Create. So introduction to virtual machines. So if I have any questions, I always go through here first before anything. So my introduction to virtual machines. What was that? All right, introduction. See if I can find whatever introduction here. What was that? Let's remove the types because it's no longer a course. And create a virtual machine. Do I have that already? No, I don't. So let's try to get that. Let's try to find where that is, or just type it in introduction um, to creating a Azure virtual machine. Well, maybe it's not finding that yet. So let's separate the creating part, enter. So here you go. Here's the module. that I'm looking for. So this is the module that I'm looking for. This is a 3 to 8 unit part. So again, every thing that you create, you get points. So this is how I create a free subscription. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, there's two different methods. So this one here is my main account, and then I also have my my paid account, which is um, designed when I create the admin center or the Intune account, or create the pay-as-you-go account or free trial. Again, free trial is 30 days. Pay-as-you-go is pay-as-you-go. And then there's also this one here where I can use it same day and create my labs same day. So this is how you create the labs. I need to verify my account. So I usually here is, you need to verify your account. So let's verify the account by starting the puzzle. So we're looking for 5 rocks. So let's see if we can find 5 rocks. There we go. So submit that. Once that's submit, I've verified that I'm a human. And I'm going to check the sandbox availability. So this will give me, like I said, it will give me the Intune portal. Like I showed you guys here, learn box with the concierge subscription. Gives me up to 4 hours at a time, or it's time slot, which gives you the ability to create whatever you want for training or for the AZ exams for up to 10 times a day. Okay, and every day it resets. So again, if there's any inactivity, you lose it. If there isn't, so again, I've already used 3 of 10 sandboxes in a 24-hour period of time. I also have 1 hour left. Okay, so I'm gonna, within that hour, I'm gonna create it. So how do we create a virtual machine? So let's assume you want to create a virtual machine running a web server Ubuntu. In this case, we're gonna be installing as per our diagram. Um, just create another diagram here. Okay, let's start drawing here. So as per our drawing, I'm going to uh, as per drawing, I'm going to log into our Learn account right here. So this is our Azure. This is going to act as our Azure IaaS. Writing here. Let's see if I can type this out instead. Let's type this out instead. So Azure IaaS. Let's see if I can change the size here. Styles. Let's make this a little professional. Make this as little as possible here. Okay. Okay. So, so, see if I can erase this part. No, I don't need this part here. Let's erase this. Okay. So I'll take back. All right. So I got my machine, my Azure AaaS service, and we're gonna go into our sandbox, Learn Sandbox, or Microsoft Learn Sandbox. Again, this gives us up to 4 hours. Um, in this case, I've already used it, and that'll give you the concierge service, and you'll see how that works in a second. So I'm going to close that. All right, there we go. So let's close this. Okay. Put this back. Okay, so let's minimize this. So we're gonna sign into the Azure portal, right, with our account. And create a virtual machine. So as you know, like I don't want to explain too much of how this works, but what you want to do is you want to go to the settings, And then within the settings, you want to switch your default directory if you have different directories and switch it to the learns.doc.microsoft.com domain. And then that'll include your sandbox. And then you also want to make sure that um, you know your information here and plans and whatnot and all the information here is you can choose whatever you want here. So your main menu behavior, your service menu behavior, and your theme. So for example, I want to change it to dark, so I can change this to dark, which is a little bit better for me. All right, and then just again make sure that we can switch between those tenants. And I'll show you guys how to switch between those tenants. I have MFA enabled, okay, and my phone is enabled, and I should get the ping shortly. Now, which is what I did, and then I'm going to put my 6-digit code. Then hit enter, verify. Right, and that changes me back to my default. So if I want to go ahead and create a machine, I'm not able to. I'd have to create it with a free Azure account or start that, set up the account, try it for free, or pay as you go. Right. So as I showed you in earlier videos, I showed you guys how to do that. So we're going to go back to that and we're going to go to our settings and change our directory. So our current directory is our default and then go back to our learn documents. All right. So as you can see, our subscription is created and active and ready to go. This is all the information and whatnot and resources that are attached. So if you do want to know where all this stuff is and you want to read up on it, you're more than welcome to read up on this. So if I have my invoices for billing and whatnot, I can export that to a CSV and export it to how I want. My payment methods, my credit card information, if I want to do that as well too. But with this one, you need to be an account minister for the subscription to view this page. If you're the account minister, then try switching the directory again. We won't be doing that today with this account. So this is all the information. If you want billing information, we can also go to billing sponsorships and check our balances. And this is for the users that have already enabled Azure 30-day subscription in the last couple days with 30 days free or pay as you go. And then sign into that. I'm not going to sign into that. So right here, visit that. What else? What else? So that's subscriptions. So we have our subscription. Let's go back to the home page. So resource groups. So like I said, we couldn't create a resource group. So we did create one here. We're not able to create. So even if I want to go ahead and create one, it won't let me. Right? If I try to create a resource group, I just want to show you guys. If I want to create, right? See what we can do here. So test. And yeah, see, I don't have this permissions to create a resource group under the subscription. Again, it is a sandbox. It is free. It's as you go. It's 4 hours time. We don't need that much time to do it. And then again, I can't move on. I'm not able to do that because the required information is missing or not valid. Okay. Just to show you guys that we cannot create it in the subscription. Okay. So that's how you create a resource group. I'm going to discard that and I'm going to go back to virtual machines. So here's our virtual machines area. And I'll show you how to create one. Just click on the create and we're going to create, we can create virtual machines hosted by Azure or create a virtual machine with presets already based and show you how that works as well too, because we can use JSON files for that and create those machines. So if you want to learn more about it, just click on the link and follow the instructions on how to create the virtual machine. So again, right now we're in the cloud. We are. Let's see if I can find a virtual machine here. VM, enter. So we have VM on the cloud, virtual machine. Let's try Azure VM, Azure. Also have the dockets here if you want. We can add the dockets however you want. So let's look for the Azure-based version of a virtual machine. SQL version. Do I have it in my Scratchpad? Oh, let's see. Let's see. So let's use that for now. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. You guys can Google that. It's a Google search away. Let's stop drawing here. Oops. Put that off the map there. Okay, so stop drawing. I'm going to add the virtual machine. So a virtual machine is added. Okay, so that's our Azure virtual machine. Maybe I didn't add it. So see if I can add more shapes. Yeah, let's add Active Directory. Let's add, shoot this. How to do that? Citrix, Cisco, Cloud, Azure. You can add whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Kubernetes, IBM. It's got everything here that you want. Archimate for the architects. I love this program and this system ML, cabinets, electrical floor plans. It's got everything you need, plus material drawings. So this has the shapes for alligators, for process engineers, compressors, ISOs, grinders, dryers, anything you want, web icons, signs, and apply that. So if we're looking at the compute section in Azure, let me see if I can find a Azure VM sign. Azure VM. So let's go back to our search here, Azure VM, and refresh. Let's see, virtual machine. I usually have my scratch pad here, but today, let's see if I can find a good one. We can use this one too if we want. So we'll use this one here. So virtual machine for now. It doesn't matter what we use. Um, application definition. Yeah, so again, we'll use this for now, or I can create my own, but in this case, this is our Azure machine. So this will be our text Azure machine. All right, so let's go back here. So if I go there, change the style of my font here, let's put the heading and put Azure VM. So that's our Azure VM. Right? And then get that out. I don't want that anymore. We'll put arrow here. So from my laptop, grab the laptop. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, we'll use this one. Use this one. Right. So here's my laptop. Okay. Right from my laptop. to 75%. Let's move this out of the way. Let's make this a little bit smaller. All right, and then we will add our cloud. So we can find a cloud here. Cloud, that's my cloud. All right. All right, so that's going to be my cloud. And do it back. Okay. So again, this is how it works. Okay. All right. So we logging into our laptops, right? We're going to create this Azure VM. Um, Get that drawing out of the way here. Okay. Let's get the pixelation here a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're logging into our laptop and we're connecting to the Learn portal and we're creating the Azure. We're logging into our learn.microsoft.com and we've um, created those machines, the virtual machine based on the information and how to create the virtual machine. If there's any, this is how to create a virtual machine. Plus, I'll send you guys all the links um, on where to find all this within that Azure portal, within our Learn documents. This will give us the sandbox for it. And then we're going to create with the virtual machine here with the services. So we're going to look for Azure services from under the home page and then create the resource and create the resource. I'm not sure if I did already or didn't, but let's go back here and show you how to do that. So if we go to the home, um, we go to start and we go to create a resource. Within the creative resource, we have our docs or MS Learn, and we can also click on that and bring us to that information here, right? And that'll bring us to that link. And then we also have our documentation and the creation documentation here. This will show you, this will have all the information. So we don't have to create uh, those links for you. So the great thing about Copilot, they've created 3 specific workloads. You can use these workloads and test these workloads with the 4 hours that you have. But in this video, I'm going to create one manually with you. Okay. And then split the diagram here. Okay. So we're going to create the resources in the basics. We just want to, our resources is already created. So even if we try to create one again, we're still going to get that error. So let's create, yeah, see, you're still going to get that error. So the best thing about this is the concierge has one already created for us. So once that's created, we're now able to now create that machine. So that machine is going to be our Windows 11 machine. And the way I want to call it is first name, last name, Windows 11 dash your region, which is the closest region to you, which would be Canada Central or Canada East. So let's use Canada East. And if we are going to be using Canada East, make sure that we're uh, keeping the same. And let's see if it's, yeah, so Canada East. And then our availability option is no infrastructure redundancy. Our security type is standard, our basic level. We don't want to do anything else. We don't need a TPM chip because we're not going to be installing BitLocker. Okay. And then we're going to change the image to Windows Pro 11 22H2. See if we have anything else here that we could use in our marketplace as it loads. Let's see. Okay, let's select that. In this one, we're able to choose Pro Enterprise and Pro, this one here. So 23H2, Gen 2, or we can use the Enterprise version, and this is the latest version. Create that. Sizes. We can select a VM to support the workload that you want to run. That size that you choose determines the factors in terms of, when we created the virtual machines within Oracle and within Workstation Pro, that offers that variety of sizes to support many types of uses. Azure charges. Let's see if I can get the calculator here. I might have one here. I'll have to see if I can bring it up. Yeah. Well, they do have a calculator here and they do charge it. So if we were to look that up here, your calculator, right, you can search that. And then, you know, with our free account or create as pay as you go, obviously you need to log in and we can calculate what it would cost a company or yourself to use these virtual machines, right? App services, AI services, cost management, Aber's Kubernetes for the developers, SQL database for database admins or SCCM admins, storage accounts, and so forth. So here are all the different columns that they have. So if I click on that, I can view that. And based on the data residency, I can choose, it allows me to change Canada, 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 Canada. There you go. Canada East. Operating system is Windows. You know, change the type, the steer. Obviously, we're going to be using a basic or a standard, and then give ourselves two vCPUs. Uh, 2 core, whatever you guys want. It's totally up to you. It doesn't really matter. If you need help, you can click on that link. So right now, I need one with the amount of hours that or days or months that I want to use it for testing purposes. And then the saving options that I have. So if you want some different saving options, reservations, saving plans that you guys have, and costs in US. Okay. And it'll give you the cost, and then you can use the calculator to go ahead and change it. And if you need to purchase the licensing, you can also do that and see those licensing agreements, and then export that to, which is a great option here too. You can export that, download that, and export the estimate into an XLSX file, which is Microsoft Excel. Okay. Click OK. And then that'll give you a side-to-side comparison, and you guys can have that and present that to management here if you need to, or your director. Um, Very descriptive. You can make changes if you need. Again, the prices in American, you have to, visit all prices are shown in USD. Well, that's just a little bit about pricing details. If you want to use that, that option is available there for you to use. There are different sizes, so we can see all those sizes and review them as needed. So our vCPUs. So in this case, I need one that's a 2 vCPU. I've got 8 gigs of RAM, right? Just to kind of show you, I'm going to use this one. Let's say, for example, I want to use this one for a domain controller, and I've got local storage, which is about SCSI disk, and then there's the monthly cost for that specific disk, um, based on the usage, most used by users, and the most sizes used by users, or you can kind of look by series. So we have our D series, our V5 series, those are 5th generation D families sizes for your general purpose needs. and then your B size series, your D series, your DV2 series, your unsupported gens, your unsupported generation, and blocked by policies. This is great for you to take a look at and play around with wherever you need. So I'm going to go back to create that virtual machine, and I'm going to pick my favorite, which is the two vCPUs and 8 gigs of memory. Let's see how much stuff. Input output per second. That's the max IOPS. The higher the input output, the better. This one here has 7 GB RAM, which was storage GIB gigabytes. A SCSI disk. It supports premium. Okay. So this is most used. Again, if you're manually creating it, you can learn more about it by clicking on here and taking a look at the different size charts and whatnot, what it's used for, and watch the videos there. Here's the name breakdown for that specific nomenclature. So a DC adds V5 series is the family name, the subfamily name, the feature, which is your CPU info, local storage, premium storage, and version. So, and the different families and workloads and series lists that they have. So the D family is the V size virtual machine size for the Azure general purposes, for Azure's general purpose VM sizes. They're designed they're designed for a variety of demand workloads, for general applications, for web app development, for you devs and test environments. If you need to learn what each balance performance, D series VMs are solid balance between the CPU capabilities. So you might want to take a look at that and read into that. And you have your F family, your FX family, different family sizes and whatnot. So this is an important read, and I will take the name structure here for you guys because I want you guys to take a look at that, and I'll put that in the notes for you. Name structure breakdown, so you have a better understanding of what that means. Put the link there, enter, post that in the WhatsApp, the YouTube video. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to creating that virtual machine. So you can also enable hibernation. So again, size, Azure charges an hourly price on that. And the best thing about this is you won't get charged here. There's no credit card needed. So we don't need to input any credit card information here. We can use this for a lot of purposes. Create a user account. So, we create your company name or first name or last name, whatever you want to create. For instance, I'm going to give it my first name admin or company name admin, and then give it the password. Okay. We're going to leave everything as is. Another thing we want to add is the licensing, because we want to make sure that we have an eligible Windows 10 11 license with multi-tenant, and we can review those hosting rights for that. And move on to the next step. So our next part is this. I'll show you guys how to create change the disk sizes here and whatnot. So in this case, I want to give it, for example, I want to give the OS disk size, let's say a terabyte. So this has attached disks do not allow for utilize their full throughput performance. The current virtual machine size supports 48 megabits per second, which is also important for you to understand. You want to learn more about throughput and additional information regarding that disk, you just click on that. And it'll show you the input output capping and what all this stuff means. This is very important for you guys to learn, to kind of see what this all means and read up on this kind of information. So our max cache and temp storage throughputs, our input output per second, per megabytes per second cache size, All that setting stuff is here. If you want to learn more about that, this is a good read. So I gave this a P30. Some images are okay. So we are going to use, in this instance, we want to give it either a standard. Again, this is all based on the prices. Okay, so you want to make sure um, you read up on that and see what the costs are when you're using this kind of stuff. So we are using a locally redundant storage for this instance for production and performance sensitive workloads. But in this case, this is more for like backup, non-critical, and frequent access. We use the standard HDVD. So we are going to use that for production in our test environment. And I also want you to check, delete the VM, delete with the VM. So I want you to delete the hard disk because it stores it in our blob storage, in Azure's blob storage. Okay. So this is a little bit of the architecture on Intune. So again, and initially began um, in 2015, and there's one also to 2021. They do change. Right now, I think by 2018, all the services, Intune services, were re-architected. So it runs off an Azure Fabric cluster or blob storage, and that's where all the information is stored within Azure or Intune. Sorry, in Intune. Sorry, not Azure. Their blob storage is that Fabric cluster. They have all the information. Um, see if I can get a better understanding of service fabric clusters, your scale units. This is where the tenant locations are for Microsoft. That's where their architecture is. So this is pretty different. Um, this might have a little bit of a different. Actually, I'm using the wrong one here. Um, I'll find. Actually, I'll have to look into that and send you guys some information on it. Um, I'll send you some information on that architecture size, but let's just go ahead and create the virtual machine today. Um, so I want to create and attach a new disk. We know we have a disk size in gigabytes, right? So we have 1 terabyte, right? Our default size was 128. So we can add and configure additional data disks for our machine or attach them if we have them already saved. So this VM will come with a temporary disk, right? And then we can create a disk for you. So for example, we have a RAID configuration. Um, let's say, for example, we have a RAID 1. Um, the data gets written to both data drives, right? And then the data gets written twice. Um, right? So again, we'll use or RAID 0. We can use that for striping, or we can use RAID 1 for mirroring. And RAID 0 or 2 drives have double the read and write performance. It offers awesome input output performance, whereas our RAID 1 advantages, our RAID 1 uses the configuration for mirroring and increases the read and write speeds, right? Or increased read performance and write performance. And again, in RAID 1, if 2 drives, if one drive fails, if drive 1 fails, it can be mirrored for both the drives, which is something that um, is of importance when you're setting up your on-premises RAIDs. Again, so if one disk goes down, the whole volume goes down. So we'll want to set a minimum of 2 disks in this one. So we're going to be using RAID 1, where it can tolerate the disks, tolerate the loss of 1 disks. This is actually another course that I'm thinking about doing. I'll have another video on this about RAIDs and how to set up RAIDs. And in this one, I'll show you how both disks are added automatically within Azure. Uh, so we will be attaching and creating a new disk in this instance. We'll call this disk 1. from our, and we'll call this a storage blob or none, just as an empty disk, and where we can enable that whenever we want. Our size, we can change the size of this disk and give them size, whatever size I want. So for example, I want 512, okay, and then give that 512 based on performance tier. Enable the shared disk. No, we're not going to, and then delete the disk with the VM. So when we delete it, we on the resource group and VM, we're going to be deleting this disk as well because it's not needed. Give us read right. Okay, so we'll move on to networking. So our next networking, we're going to give it basic networking. So in this instance, we're going to create a new one for this. Call this VMnet1, right? And then hit OK. We're not going to be touching we're not going to be touching the subnet, and we are going to give it a basic static assignment for public IP, so that we're able to open up RDP and install it. We're also going to delete the public IP and make when the VM is deleted so that it can be reused. We're not going to set up load balancing for this one, where we can place a backend pool for load balancing, and there are solutions for that. In management, and so, oh, I hit OK. Go to management. We can log in with Enter ID with assignments. I'm not going to do that. We're going to enable auto shutdown, whatever. This is all can enable hot patching through Microsoft updates. We're not going to really touch into that right now. We can set up alerts, test diagnostics, and monitoring. I do want monitoring. Advanced. We can add extensions. We can install these extensions. Let's see what kind of extension they have here that we can install. Let's see. Sentinel-1. Let's rather install a Sentinel-1 Windows extension. And click Next. Right. And create the Windows agent version, site token, and Sentinel-1. You might need a create all this stuff. So I'm actually going to go back and not use this one as an example. Let's see what kind of which one I can use for an example here. Fortunately, I don't have that, so I won't be able to use that. So let's see if we can configure Windows Azure-based login. Here we go. So let's use this one here. Click Next. The base Windows login extension, and let's create that. Select an extension to install, which is what we did. Okay, and then any applications that are securely reliable, which we don't need to install that. Any custom data that we can use, enable user data. No, we don't need it. Performance. Again, that's up to you. Host, group, capacity reservations. These are things we can, review with your team. And then we're just gonna go quickly to review and create. But before I do it, these are the three options that are pre-configured. You can go ahead and look at these anytime now and troubleshoot that. So this is how I would manually do it in a production environment. So in our development test environment today, we're just going to go through some of these options with you to kind of test them. All right. So we have the RDP ports open to that. That's only recommended for testing again. Support through 389. And then we are going to validate. Once the validation is passed, we can see our changes that we made, review those, and download the template for automation. So let's download this template. Okay. And then go back, template, close this, and then create. So we've now created our Windows 11 machine within our Azure Learn Sandbox. Once this is done, deployment is in progress. We could open up our machine client machine, and then enable remote desktop. So let's remote desktop here. You can use whatever application you want. Like there's some applications like that you feel like using. There are some great remote tools like remote. These are up to, that's totally up to you. Um, these are, you can download these however you like. Again, it's totally up to you. Uh, you can play around with this one. This one's pretty easy. Um, you know what? Let's download this one. Download this one for you just to kind of give you guys an input and output of how to install it. Um, or again, we can use remote. We can also use remote desktop client, remote desktop client download. See if we can do that. Okay. I can download that tool. So I'll do this one here. You can use, might have it stored here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it, guys. Give me one second. Um, we have it here. I have to take a look at that, guys, for you. There is another tool that I can use, but in this one, and you know what, let's just show you these two right now. Um, for now, there's multiple tools that you can use. So let's download the remote tool first. Let's download that. We're going to use the MSI version for the stable, which is the latest version, preview and nightly. I'm just going to show you how to do that. So I'll show you how to connect using RDP, right? But just make sure it's enabled first. So I'll show you guys how to enable that in your PCs beforehand. So if you go to settings, first thing you want to do is enable it. So if it's, or else it won't work. And then go to the settings and turn on enabled remote desktop. I think I showed you guys in one of the videos. Um, we also have some group policies. Group policies. I think I've created some group policies already for this my network, my MECM network. I think so. I would have to take a look at those details, settings here. Double click and then show all. It may have already enabled that port. Okay. Yeah, I've already created that, enabled that port. So so to see if you did or not, go to system because it's grayed out, right? So in our client machine, what I want you to type in is sysdm/cpl, enter. Okay. And that's our system profile. And then within a remote, um, should be grayed out, which is what we want. We want to allow it, and then we want to allow the connections to this computer. And again, we can also select the users and add those users based on whoever has access. Okay. And that's all done through AD as well too. That can be done in AD. We can create user groups. I need a security group for that. Or okay, so hit OK, close that. I've now downloaded that application. I think I downloaded it. I did download it. Okay, so that's in our downloads. Okay, so let's install that. All right, and in the meantime, we will go back to our Azure portal. It looks like this is done now. Refresh, and let's go home. So we know that we created that one virtual machine, which is what we did. So we've created that virtual machine. Go to the virtual machine section, running in our location, our resource group, and our public IP. So let's take that public IP and copy that. So I'm going to copy this, copy, or you know what, let's start the machine first. I want to start the machine. Again, if I have multiple machines, I can select multiple machines, right click, and then start the machine, stop the machine, restart the machine, and delete the machine. So I want to start the machine. And yeah, you want to start the machine, hit yes. Copy this address one more time. I didn't miss anything. Do a Control C, or just click on here, and sometimes they have a copy here. There's the JSON view. We can take a look at the JSON view files. Make changes to that needed. And this will give us all the information on OS disk, data disk, OS profile, and whatnot. Let's go to connect. All the settings here, or copy it here again too. And then minimize that, go back to our virtual machine. And that's downloaded. Okay, great. Better IP. Let's install in remote, accept that on our client machine. Okay, next, install. All right, so let's open up the desktop remote and click paste that number if it allows me to here, or just copy and paste it. So we copy and paste it here again. Copy that, next. Right click and paste. No, oh, I guess it doesn't want to let me copy. Did I install VM? No, I didn't install the VM tools. Oh, it's installed, but we're not copying. Interesting. Okay, so let's just copy and paste. Let's just close that. Maybe that's what it is. The security user UAC account control. Hit OK. See if I can copy now. No, it's not letting me. Okay. So let's just copy it. So 2175. Let's move that over here. Move that over here. Oh. So let's copy the numbers here. 20, so 5, 20, dot 109.189. Okay. All right. And I'm going to launch that. Make this a little bit bigger. It's bigger here. Let's go like this. Okay. So I'm going to connect machine. I think I typed it in wrong. Okay. Did I make a mistake? Yeah, so 175.109. There's an extra 8 there. And then click connect. All right, that should be able to connect to my machine. Perfect. And this is what we want. So there's our Windows security. We're going to type in our username and password and paste. And then, okay, that should connect it. Once we get that, we're golden. Let's make this a little bit bigger now. Okay. And hit yes. There's our Windows 11 machine, a virtual machine that we created, and would give us 4 hours of time. So in this instance, again, this is the module path. It's part of the Azure AZ 103 Azure Architect Design prerequisites. for AZ305. So you can actually learn how to use that for the AZ305. It's of course I've already taken. So you can go ahead and look at that. Remote. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you guys how to use remote. Okay, so this is the fun part here. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Um, we're not going to do location. You can track it's up to you. Again, you can track the location or find, but Windows won't be able to help you track if you lose it. It's a virtual machine. We know where this is, so we don't need to click on that. Geolocations, if you feel like you want to know the weather, other services, you turn that on and off. These are just generic inking and typing if you have a pen. Tailored experiences based on diagnostics, tips, ads, recommendation. We don't really use that, so we don't need that. And in our case, yeah, we want to use a pen. Next. And here's our virtual machine. We can smart size it. It's a little bit bigger. There you go. So here's our virtual machine. Let's test it. Go to WinVer. No, that we installed. WinVer. Click next. So we have our 23H2 machine. Perfect. And then we should have our C drive. Right. Disk management. We're going to initialize the disk. And then we have our allocated terabyte there. So we can use that allocated terabyte. And we're going to, like I mentioned before, we are going to create RAID 1 for 2 disks. So with RAID 1, we need a minimum of 2 disks and a maximum of 32. So again, with RAID 1, there's no overhead performance. It can tolerate the disk of 1. It can tolerate the loss of 1 disk. In this case, you'll receive full performance of the drive, but half the capacity that you would normally get. And again, there's another course for this too. I can show you guys one day. I'll set up another video on this, on that, and we'll go ahead and do that. So here's the second disk that we have. We have set up 127 as we noted. And what I'm going to do is RAID 1 uses mirroring. So we're going to use the mirrored volume. We're going to click next, and we are going to use the available. Let's say, yeah, we can use the available or split that in two. It's up to you. So in this case, we're going to use the available. And then add, and then click back next. Let's remove that. Let's click on that and add half that size. So half of that would be, let's say 45, 450000. Okay. And then hit OK. Next. And then back. And then save online. Let's save allocated. Use simple volume next. Let's use the full drive path. This is the mirrored stuff. So properties. So create a simple volume. Next, let's use 450000. Next, we'll give this a drive, right? And then we will click next, and then we will give this, let's say, for this machine, we're going to be using it for applications. Right, we're going to install our developer applications, right? And create a quick format, finish, right? And then once that's done, it'll format. So right now we need that second disk. So we have that 1 and 2 disk. So we will, we can shrink, extend the volumes as we need, but in this case, we're going to add the mirror to disk 2 and then add the mirror on that. So this operation will be selected, converted the disk to dynamic. You will not be able to start operating system from any volume on the disk except for the current volume. Are you sure? Yes. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this one here is our resyncing. So I've created that mirrored volume for that on that machine. So that disk there has our 2, and it's just going to resync. It's synchronized now between the 2 disks. So let's go ahead and hopefully resynchronize the data now. Once it's done, still resyncing, and it uses NTFS file system custom, and hopefully I can create an application. So for example, let's create let's create some folders in here, and we'll call it data folders. So we have a data folder in our application. And we can transfer and move folders as much as so. Okay. So these are both mirror disks. A little bit of disk management 101. It's our mirrored and our simple volume. So we have our 2 different volumes here. Again, we're going to be using this for, well, RAID 1, again, we'll use this for accounting or finance. So we'll call that we'll call it the, and now again, if we have the 2 data drives, it'll be used on a smaller server. So I'll show you guys how to do that. There are some disadvantages, but again, the data gets written twice. So both the data drive and the mirror drive, right? Which is better than a RAID 0 right now, where it splits it. And in this case, you know, we need to ensure that we're getting the right information for that. Okay, let's rename this. Rename properties. Okay. This finance. We'll call that finance. There you go. So this is a mission critical server. And there you have it. Windows 11 created. So let's go ahead and do the same thing from this machine. And create this disk on the virtual machine. Okay, so let's try to connect to one of them. Let's create a new folder, and we'll call this, let's say, Canada VMs, and then we'll create another folder called oops. So we'll create a new folder. All right, and we will rename that to US VMs, US Data Center VMs. All right, I'll make this a little bit bigger here. This is our Canadian Data Center VM. Within our, let's say, our Canadian Data Center um, connection here, and I don't have a new connection here. Okay, so let's move this new connection to Canada because we're in because of our data residency. So we will connect with options and we will create the new connection and then call the new connection SC Win 11 client, right? And then give the IP address, username, password. So the IP address is 2175. Okay. Copy this here for a second. Okay. So IP, DNS, whatever you want to use. 175. This is our public IP. Okay. 1889. Username, password. Okay, and then enter. And we are going to connect. Again, I can put multiple machines in different locations, right? And then I can do whatever I want and then cancel. Cancel. We are going to connect. There we go. There's our machine. We've connected. Let's go to win ver. See if we can get our disk that we just created. So right click, disk management, and we created, there we go. There's our disk. We created RAID 1 with 500 gigs left, under 500 gigs left. So if we open up there's our finance department with our data inside. Perfect. So here you have it, guys. That's how you create a disk using remote MG, our Azure virtual machine, using our Learn Microsoft sandbox, and running these machines live on our using mRemote, which is a remote tool, free remote tool, or you can use it on remote desktop connection tool. I'll have to give you the information on that. It's pretty straightforward. Same concept, and using the RDP, which is our Windows-based product. So MSCTS dot MSC. And I'm spelling that right. Microsoft. Dot MSC. Anyway, so something like that. So we have to Google that. But here's the remote desktop connection, and then we'll connect with that machine. And we've gone ahead and connected that remote machine. You can't have it open twice, but this is how you segregate it. We can segregate it and manage it however we want. Take screenshots, configs, sessions, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Looks like one of the machines is on, so let's turn this off. So turn off status. Turn off the status. Okay. So here, close that. Looks like the IP is what happened? Let's refresh this. Okay, what happened? Looks like the machines are closed. Okay. Oh, I guess that was basically based on the time allotted. Again, like I said, guys, it's all based on time. Um, yeah, you need to verify the account. So your best bet is to troubleshoot this. You'll have more time to troubleshoot it as much as you want. You can connect it as many times as you want. Just make sure that you follow along with the step-by-step information. Again, you're more than welcome to ask me at any time. And you can go ahead and complete the lab based on um, the information that they want to give you. So for example, you want to test it on a Ubuntu server, you can, use the import ports 22 SSH, download the private key, generate. This will teach you how to do everything. Um, you know, and then when you're off to the night, you can create and manage the Azure virtual machine. Right? You can create resource templates. So this will show you how to automate under automation, export a template, how to use Azure CLI, which is and actually create, which is our Microsoft cross-platform command line tool. We can actually create that. It wasn't part of this video today, but again, that's something that you guys can kind of look into. So again, like I said, part of the AZ 305, if you're interested, I've already taken this course, which is kind of cool, but you know, you're more than welcome to browse the course paths and search the AZ 103, AZ 305. I recommend to start off with the 900 first and then work your way from 104 to 500 before you get to the 305. 305. So once that's, you can use the Microsoft Cybersecurity Architect. So that's the course. It's version SC 100T000, which is related to the cybersecurity security architect expert, which should have the learning path um, designed designed for you whenever you need. Again, thanks again, guys, for taking the time to join me today. In this course, I've um, using my laptop, I was able to use my existing infrastructure within my VMware environment and log into my Azure to use their Microsoft Learn Sandbox. You also got to learn how to use draw.io. Hopefully, you guys have a chance to use it yourself and test the features that you have. I'll send over the information. And this one, I've only created one. You guys can go ahead and create two of them. So once you created, you need to ensure that, oh, that's another thing. You need to, make sure that you permissions are requested. All right. So you have that permissions requested, and then sign into that. And then Yeah, that's about it, guys. So thanks again. I appreciate it. Take your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to answer them or send me a quick text on WhatsApp. Okay, I'll leave that information for you guys. Other than that, thank you very much and have a great day.